Hello everyone, Shroomraver here, and today I'm excited to bring you my Week 7 match from the Pokemon Premier League. Yes indeed. Now, last week we did suffer our second loss of the season to Ellie and the Teddington Teddiursas. And you know, what can I say? We were underprepared and we were hopelessly outplayed. Nothing really much more to be said. We did some things incorrectly. We didn't have the right mons maybe, we didn't have the right sets maybe, but it was very important that we went into this week to get a win. We were sitting at third on the table, having slipped down a bit after that loss, and in order to keep our title dreams alive, we really needed a win. Now, this was going to be very difficult, because our Week 7 opponent was FredFord. My man Oscar, FredFord, and the Borussia Doublade. Now, his team is just so terrifying. Like, literally, it's one of the scariest drafts going. He had, at this point in time, Mega-Mawile, Kyurem-Black, Feraligatr, Alomomola, which is what he traded in. I believe he traded out Dragalge to get Alomomola, Musharna, Landorus-Incarnate, Beheeyem, Latios, Kecleon, and Magneton, which is a terrifying team. I mean, when he was drafting, people were just sitting there in like our Skype call going, "Oh my god, how are we going? What do we do? How has he been able? How have we let him draft all this stuff?" It's terrifying. So he's got massive threats and some real nasty, difficult to overcome bulk in there. So for the first time in this league, I really had to go back to my sort of roots of thinking of weird sets, because I needed to think outside the box to try and break down Fred's team. So, before we get into the team I brought, once again you may be able to see a new face on the team. I went into the draft, the transfer window, and I got rid of Houndoom. With apologies to the new interim manager of Miami Rotom Heat, Jedi Cardet, I got rid of Houndoom. You know, I looked at the teams I was yet to play and I figured Houndoom actually wasn't going to do that much for me. So I got rid of Houndoom. It was a bit too frail. It had done well in its in one of the two matches. It really got me the win over Slyro back in Week 5. But I figured it wasn't going to do too much. Plus, by getting rid of Houndoom, my budget went up to just over 10 million. What that meant was I could go UU, and I did. And I went with Noivern. I drafted in Noivern, so finally I got the dragon I've been looking for. Noivern is, I believe if I've done my research correctly, the 5th fastest Pokemon in the entire draft at this moment. It's only outgunned by Mega-Zam, who I've already played against, Mega-Lopunny, Talonflame, and above Talonflame is Crobat. Those are the only 4 that outspeed it, so I've got a really fast mon in there, which I was really happy to get. So, let us go on to the team that I brought against Fred. I was pretty certain. I had broken down what I thought he would bring to 7 mons. I didn't think he was going to bring Beheeyem or Kecleon. I didn't think he was going to go Trick Room, because some of my team are quite slow, so I figured Trick Room might not be his best play. So, I went with a team that I thought was going to be able to break him down. I'm really just going to quickly change up some settings on my computer. There we go. Just don't want it to do nasty things like turn off in the middle of my sort of pre-match go-over of the team. Anyway, back on point. Let's look at the team I brought. First up, I decided to bring Piloswine. Yes, Piloswine is back. Hasn't been doing all that much for the team of late, but I figured it would be pretty useful here. We have a sort of very, very defensive build of Piloswine. Max HP, lots of defense, and some nominal attack investment. Earthquake, Ice Shard, Toxic, and Reflect are the moves. It can take an Iron Head from a fully offensive Mega-Mawile, I believe, and try and hit back with an Earthquake, try and do some nice damage. Ice Shard is going to be very nice for that priority. He does have the possible Latios, he does have the possible Landorus, so the Ice Shard is going to be very useful for them. Reflect is nice, he's got some powerful physical attackers that I just want no part of. So that's what that's there for. Toxic is something that I really want for the possible Musharna. I don't mind getting Toxic back with Synchronize if that's what it has. I just Toxic on Musharna is really nice, and if he has the heal bell, it will force him to go for it at some point. However, I do also have something that is tailor-made to take on Musharna, and that is my second pick for this game, Sableye. Sableye didn't have the greatest of debuts in week 5, he burnt the wrong mon and got bopped by a Draco from Specs Kyurem. This time I am bringing fully specially defensive Sableye with the Calm Nature, Willow, Recover, Dark Pulse and Taunt. This thing 100% takes on Musharna. I mean, I'm not expecting him to bring offensively invested Musharna. Of course I have the priority Taunt, which is going to stop him from setting up Calm Minds, Moonlights, all that stuff, Heal Bells, and the Dark Pulse will take it on. Even if he has the Dazzling Gleam, that's not doing over half to my Sableye, so I can easily beat it one-on-one with the Sableye. And of course that Prankster Will-O-Wisp going to be very useful for things like the Kyurem-Black, like the Feraligatr, and like the Mawile, because a burn on those things really going to be doing me good. So, third member of the team this week is going to be my captain, Mega-Gallade. Mega-Gallade comes back with a jolly nature as per usual. Close combat, Ice Punch, Knockoff and Shadow Sneak. Last week I was burned by not having priority, which could have made the game a little bit closer perhaps. I'm not going to make that mistake again. I'm bringing priority. He's got some fast things that are weak to Shadow Sneak, along the lines of Latios, I'm thinking. Close combat, obviously going to be doing lots of damage. Knockoff, very nice for his bulky things. I can get rid of a possible Lum on the Feraligatr. And Ice Punch, of course, very nice. Excuse me, for a lot of the members of his team, going to be doing a lot of damage after a Knockoff. So, fourth up, this is where we start getting a little bit gimmicky to try and take on FredFord's threats. We have Thatcher the Registeel, fully specially defensive, Ice Punch, Earthquake, Curse and Rest with the Chesto Berry. And I never thought I'd be saying this, but Registeel sets up on Mega-Mawile. Really does, honestly. If it's not packing Fire Fang, I was looking at this. I was looking down the moves. I was thinking, if it's not packing Fire Fang, it can't touch Registeel, right? And I can set up curses. I can rest up, and then I can start firing off those powerful hits. Ice Punch and Earthquake provide very nice coverage for his team, and a Life Orb Timid Earth Power from the Landorus doesn't take out Registeel with special defense investment. And what I'm thinking is, I'm going to be setting up curses on something. He will have to bring in the Landorus, by which time it will be too late, and I will hopefully be able to one-shot it with Ice Punch. That's the plan with Registeel. So the fifth member of the team, and this is where the real gimmick comes into it, because the fifth member of the team is going to be Uxie. Uxie has not been seen on the team since that second battle against RhyQuinn. So we've brought back Uxie, and we've got a Bold Nature. Once again, this time we've got max HP, max defense, 4 in special attack, as I say, Bold Nature. Moves we are packing: Giga Drain, Shadow Ball, Calm Mind, and Recycle, with the item as a Citrus Berry. Uxie is, I'm thinking, going to be quite key in this match. With max defensive investment, it's eating up those physical hits. Get a couple of Calm Minds up, and we're good to go on that side as well. Now, the problem with Uxie, and what is really holding it back from being a top tier wall, two things in my opinion. Firstly, it's a little bit lackluster in the base HP department. Nothing we can do about that. The second thing is its lack of reliable recovery. Really, it only gets access to rest and leftovers as its kind of instant recovery, which is not good enough for a wall. You really want some reliable recovery on there. So the plan is, get up a couple of Calm Minds, we're good to go on either defensive side. I then get my Citrus Berry, and then I can recycle it, take a hit, and get even more health back. And that's going to be the plan with Uxie, using that recycle Citrus to get to good health whilst getting my boosts, and then maybe be able to take out some mons. And the final member of the team is going to be the debutant. We've got Noivern in here. Noivern, this is a Choice Scarfed Noivern. 100 HP, 252 special attack, 156 speed, Timid Nature. We're rocking Draco, Flamethrower, Dark Pulse, and Dragon Pulse. Those EVs, sorry, my bad. Those EVs, 156 in speed with the Timid Nature, they do allow me to outpace everything on Fred's team. And the Scarf means I can outpace any Scarfers on his team, which means I am outspeeding that Latios, which is going to be very useful in the end game if he's still got it left. I can have Noivern, and I can just bop it. Dark Pulse is there because he does have something of a pronounced dark weakness. It hits a lot of his things either super effectively or neutrally. You know, it's hitting the Musharna, it's hitting the Beheeyem if he wants to bring it, it's hitting the Latios. Kecleon does a lot of Protean things with Shadow Sneak, so that would be quite useful if he wants to go for that. It's hitting a lot of things neutrally, other than maybe the Mega-Mawile, for which of course I do have Flamethrower. So, that is my team. Let's take a look at what FredFord brought for the Borussia Doublade. So, going across from left to right, we have Latios, Musharna, Feraligatr, Landorus, Kyurem-Black, and Mega-Mawile. Much of what I expected him to bring. I didn't see a Alomomola, which I was so happy about. I never enjoy taking on a Alomomola. You know, he's gone with a very offensive team. Really very offensive. The Musharna is really the only thing packing massive bulk. I'm just looking down his investments here. And yeah, Musharna is really the only thing packing any significant bulk on his team. Which is fine, you know, Musharna can take hits all day every day. It's got reliable recovery, it's got status, it's got cleric moves if needs be. And then he can just basically pound my team, pause, with everything else he's got, whilst sort of keeping them supported with the Musharna. So, I went into this battle thinking that I just need to stay calm and, you know, use my walls effectively, set up when I can, and maybe keep Noivern for the end game, hit some things with Gallade when I need to, and, you know, maybe we should be fine. This is going to be something of a clash of the Titans. I was sitting in third, Fred was sitting in first on the table, on points difference, and I really needed to win this game to keep my title hopes alive. So, that in mind, I'm going to leave with Piloswine. Let's see how things played out. So, here we are, going to get into the battle against FredFord. He's issuing the challenge. He's going to lead off with his Mega-Mawile. I'm going to lead off, as I say, with my Piloswine. This is a great lead for me. I can take a hit, set up my Reflect, and we should be good to go against this thing. I might even be able to get Registeel in to set up early. So, he's obviously going to stick around. He doesn't really fear too much from a Piloswine. And so he's going to Mega up, and first turn, he is going to pop the sub. And I still wasn't too worried, because I can easily break it with an Earthquake, even at -1. I set up my Reflect, I'm good to take a hit from this Mega-Mawile. And then he tightens his focus, and I shit myself. He's got fucking Focus Punch on this thing. I go for the Earthquake, even at -1, that's taking it out, proving that this is definitely not defensively invested. He might have HP, but he's basically an offensive one. And he goes for the Focus Punch. And this is a max invested Adamant Mega-Mawile, and I tank it. Absolutely tank it. Well played, Piloswine. So he's going to go to plan B for this, and that is going to be Hydro Kids, his Kyurem-Black. I'm just going to go for the Earthquake, you know, no reason not to. And at -1, this is still doing a nice little chunk to the Kyurem. So here, I'm going to go into Pink Floyd my Uxie, just to see what he's going to do, and he packs sub on this as well, and at this point I was like, stop Fred, stop using Substitute, you bastard. Anyway, he's going to go for the Ice Beam. I'm not especially defensively invested on Uxie, but I still tank it, which is grand, and that's a Life Orb hit coming from this thing. And now I'm going to go for the Calm Mind. It turns out I think he was a mixed set on yeah, he was a mixed set, which is why the Ice Beam wasn't doing as much as he might like. My Reflect wears off, and he's just going to go for another Ice Beam again. I feel like he might have been fishing for the freeze, which would have done him a great service here, if he could get it on my Uxie. He's not going to get it here, and I'm happy to let him go behind a sub. I have my Citrus, I get my Citrus back, and I'm able to go for a second Calm Mind. And once again, Uxie's being allowed to set up, and Uxie is looking really good here. I'm really happy with how things are going. He's killing himself to Life Orb. I don't even need to do anything at this point. I just need to let it happen. So he goes for the third Ice Beam. Here I'm convinced he is fishing for the crit. Sorry, the freeze, or the crit. He's not going to get either. I'm going to be able to go for the Recycle. Yes, Recycle Uxie coming through. Going to get that Citrus Berry back, eat it up straight away and get back all that delicious HP. And that puts me at just under half. That's crucial. He sees there's no future in this for Kyurem. He's going to hard switch out into Latios as I go for the secondary cycle. And because I was just under half of my health, once again I'm going to instantly eat up that Citrus Berry. And now Uxie is at like +2 I think, or I think he's at +2, Calm Minds. And I'm at a really nice amount of health. He is going to switch into his Musharna, but now is when I start attacking. And this is at +2, so I'm going to be doing some nice damage. And Musharna takes it at just over half. Here, I was looking for the max roll, really hoping for that max roll. I just don't get it. And Musharna's able to get off a Thunder Wave, and this is going to be a running theme, his Musharna annoying me with Thunder Wave. But Uxie, you know, I'm not invested in speed, that's not what it's there for. He's going to go for the Moonlight. I knew this was coming. He's obviously going to outspeed me with the Paralysis. Get his Moonlight back. I could have tried to take him out with the Shadow Ball. Instead I go for my third Calm Mind. Just to really cement Uxie in here as being really comfortable at a nice amount of HP. So I'm just going to go for the Shadow Ball. No reason not to. He's going to make the switch into his Feraligatr, realising he's got to attack me on the physical side now. He's got to try that. I'm going to go for the Shadow Ball. It's going to do a nice amount to Gator. Gator's pretty bulky naturally. And was HP invested. He's going to go for the Crunch here, but Uxie is physically defensive. I tank it, and I can go for the Giga Drain, and that is one of Fred's threats out of the way. Gator goes down, Uxie nets himself a KO, back at just under half health with the Giga Drain recovery, and we're looking in a fantastic position. So in comes Incarnate, the Landorus, and he's going to go straight up for the U-turn, which is nice. So I'm thinking, you know, he's sort of a specially inclined set with U-turn just for that initiative. He shows to be Life Orb, so that's fine. That pretty much cements he's that Sheer Force set. And he goes into his Kyurem. And the unfortunate thing here is that I get fully parried. I had gone for a Shadow Ball, it would have taken him out from there. It's unfortunate, but you know, these things happen. So, I want to try and save the differential, maybe keep Uxie for fodder. Gonna go into Registeel, who I know can absolutely eat up an Ice Beam. Which is the only move I think he's got to hit me at this point. It does really nothing to Registeel, and you know, he's going to then go for the Earth Power. But as I say, he can't be fully invested. He is a mixed set of Kyurem-Black, which means this isn't going to be doing too much. He does get the Spadef drop, which is unfortunate. Life Orb does a little bit more, and Registeel is going to take his first KO of the league, picking off Kyurem-Black with a well-timed Ice Punch. So now in comes Landorus. I don't want to take an Earth Power, not at -1, I can't take it. Gonna switch out into my Uxie, kind of as fodder, or maybe if he wants to go for Earth Power, that'll be fine. He goes for Rock Slide. It turns out this is a physical Landorus-Incarnate, which I was not expecting, and it kind of threw me for a second. But then I realised it's okay. I have Sableye. So I'm going to bring out Sableye and go for that priority Will-O-Wisp, and that is this Landorus, to me, crippled. He is now a burnt, physical Landorus. He's going to go for the Earthquake, and this is a specially defensive Sableye, and it really takes this hit very well indeed. I was very happy with how well Sableye took that hit, for not being invested in defense. And this is the beginning of Sableye really starting to annoy Fred's team, because Sableye's just going to do what Sableye does best. I'm just going to go for the Recover. Against the burnt physical threat, he's going to go for... I was so close to going for Taunt there. Predicting a switch into Musharna. But no, he's going to get his rocks up, which I guess is fine. I don't mind too much. I haven't bought my flying types. So he's going to go for the U-turn on my Sableye. I had no reason not to go for a Dark Pulse here. I was at a nice amount of health, and he's physical and burnt. So in comes the Mega-Mawile. And I go for the Dark Pulse. Obviously, you know, it's not going to do an enormous amount to this thing. It does resist it very nicely. And he's HP invested in Mega-Mawile. So again, not going to be doing all that much. Here, he makes a good switch, a good double, into a Pokemon that doesn't mind being burnt, that of course being his Latios. But I'm happy getting a burn on it. Residual damage on Latios is always a nice thing, especially if it's a Life Orb set, because then it will be taking a lot of residual. And that is not something that he wants to be taking on one of his premier threats, and possibly one of the only things he has left to take down the Sableye. So, I don't want to take a hit from this thing, don't want to take a Draco, so I'm going to go into my designated counter, which is my Registeel. take a bit of rocks damage, and I'm thinking, you know, I can still take these hits. Maybe if he's Life Orb, we might be in a bit of trouble, might be in a bit of a pickle. He goes for the Draco Meteor, and Registeel absolutely eats it. Just eats it right up. He gets the special attack drop. I don't see Life Orb recovery, I'm thinking this thing is scarfed. It turned out it was scarfed. So he can't take me out, he's going to switch right the hell on out and go into his Musharna, as I go for the rest. So, Registeel, from being at a low amount of health, once again, Registeel putting in a fine shift for me. From a low health, gets right the hell back up to full, and I pop the Chesto and I wake up. However, I can't touch this thing, I absolutely can't touch it. I'm going to go into my designated counter, once again, it's Sableye, and this thing really can't touch me unless, as I say, it has the Dazzling Gleam. He's just going to go for the Moonlight, which is fine, he wants to get himself back up to full. And here, I do make a slight over-prediction. As I get my leftovers back, I'm thinking, he must know I packed the Taunt. He must know it. So I'm just going to go for Dark Pulse. And he has the Colbur Berry, which I used against RhyQuinn in the second game. And it means that he's not going to take any damage from this, and he's going to get off a T-Wave. I should have gone for Taunt, really. I shouldn't have over-predicted. But, you know, these things happen. Sableye doesn't particularly need its speed. I just have to bank on not getting parried, and I can still use my Prankster very effectively indeed. So, Musharna's sitting here at a nice amount of health, but it doesn't want to be staying in against the Sableye, not at all. He's going to switch out, go into his Latios, as I go for the Taunt this time. So it's not going to do all that much, you know, he is obviously an offensive thing. Turned out he does have some moves which would be affected by Taunt, we'll get onto that later. So, Latios going to take a little bit of burn damage, Sableye still looking at a good amount of health. But once again, I have no reason not to go into my Registeel. As far as I'm concerned, this thing can't touch me. It really can't. It's a Scarfed Latios. It's going to be firing off Dracos because it wants to damage my Sableye as much as possible, because Sableye is such a problem for him right now. So the Draco is going to come in, and once again, Registeel is going to eat it. He has nothing on this thing to touch Registeel. It walls it very effectively indeed. So he's going to switch out, needing to preserve this thing, and go into his Mega-Mawile. But I see this coming a mile away. I'm going to pull a double of my own and go into Mega-Gallade for the first time. Gallade touches the field, and I counted it. Once I Mega, Close Combat does take out a non-defensively invested Mawile, which I'd already realised that it was. I knew it was an offensive build, it could have HP investment, even if it's max HP I can still take it out with a Close Combat from that range of health. And I go for it, and down goes Mega-Mawile. Another huge threat gone from the field. So Gallade netting himself another KO, looking really good in the MVP race for the golden boot of most KOs. Don't want to stay on a Musharna, don't want to be taking a Thunder Wave, not now, not ever. So gonna go into Bartolomeo, my Sableye, predicting that, and he does in fact just go for the Psyshock, which of course doesn't affect me. So I've seen 3 of his moves. I've seen T-Wave, I've seen Moonlight, and I've seen now Psyshock. So here, I make some kind of prediction, I don't even know. I go into my Noivern, who sees the field for the first time, as he reveals his 4th move is Hidden Power. Turns out it was Hidden Power Electric. I guess in case I bought the Gyarados, so I could get bot-wide again. He gets a crit, and here, you know, I took a stupid risk. I didn't need to do this. I should have saved Noivern for the end game. I knew Dark Pulse wouldn't take it out, and it means he can get a paralysis on me. That was a stupid play by me, I shouldn't have done that. Now I can probably still outspeed the Musharna, even paralysed, but there's no sense in doing it. Now, a turn too late, I go into Sableye, who, as I say, is my instant reaction to Musharna. He's going to pull a switch of his own and go into his Landorus. And I'm going to get leftovers. Once again, this is a fantastic matchup for me. This thing is physical, as I said before, and it's burnt. It's really not a threat to my Sableye at all. He's going to go for Earthquake, just looking, as I say, to get damage on my Sableye as much as possible. I'm going to go for the Dark Pulse on this thing, looking to try and take it out. I do unfortunately get paralysed, but as long as I can get a recover off the next turn, that doesn't really matter. This thing can get stalled. If he's going for Earthquakes, he's taking Life Orb damage and burn damage, which I'm absolutely fine with. So I go for the recover next turn, and thankfully I do not get paralysed, which is absolutely grand. So once again, Sableye at a nice amount of health. He's going to go for the Rock Slide here, I guess predicting me to attack and looking for that flinch so that he could try and do as much damage to me as possible. Unfortunately for him, of course, I did go for the prankster move, going to get my recover off, and Bartolomeo looking really nice indeed. And here, once again, I just have no reason not to go for a recover. I can stall this thing out with Burn and potential Life Orb, so that's absolutely fine. He is going to go for the Earthquake here, once again just looking for that last ditch amount of damage. It's not doing much, I'm pretty sure he got a fairly low roll on that anyway. And Landorus is going to take itself out of the Life Orb, so once again, another threat muted and another threat dispatched by the evil Sableye, just doing, what, as I say, what it does best. So in comes the Latios, looking to try and nuke me with a Draco Meteor. Once again, my designated switch is Thatcher, but he does see this coming. It's what I've been doing all along, so he is going to go for the trick, and confirms to me that he is in fact Scarf set. His fourth move, incidentally, was Defog, his third being, of course, Stab Psyshock. So he tricks me the Scarf. He doesn't get anything in return because I've already popped my Chesto. And he's got to go back into his Disagreement, his Musharna, who of course I can't touch. I'm now scarfed into Ice Punch. This is going to be doing absolutely nothing, of course, to the Musharna. So, Musharna's in. I'm obviously going to go into Sableye. There's no reason not to. This thing cannot touch me at all. At this point, he does go for the Moonlight just to try and get some health back. If he is going to win this game, clearly he needs to take out Sableye with his now non-choiced Latios, and he needs to have this thing at good health to try and take on basically everything else. So I'm going to go for the recover, get myself back to pretty much full health, in fact absolutely full health, as he just starts firing off hidden powers. And you know, I think at this point it was good game. At this point it pretty much was. He couldn't touch Sableye with Musharna, and his Latios was not a threat to Registeel. So I basically already won it with these two walls. And he's just going for hidden powers here. Just to try and get maybe crits, just try and get damage. If he can get lucky with the hits, he can take out my Sableye. If he gets lucky with the paras, he might be able to take it out. And as you can see here, I do get paralysed. He is going to go once again for the hidden power, but specially defensive Sableye is going to eat that up very nicely indeed. Still sitting a really nice amount of health. And yeah, the game basically here is just kind of winding down. Fred knows it's over, unfortunately for him. He's just going to have to, as I say, keep firing off those hidden powers. I can go for Dark Pulses. And now, I guess he made a last gasp prediction. This was his last final throw. No, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. He's going for hidden power once again, getting me down, and I get paralysed. And this is where he has his final sort of desperate roll of the dice to try and get one up on me and try and get some momentum back. He's going to make the switch predicting my recover, and he's going to go into his Latios to try and predict my recover and go for the Draco. But unfortunately, I'm just attacking at this point. I go for the Dark Pulse, and it is going to take out the Latios from there. So that last sort of desperate gamble, unfortunately for Fred, is not going to pay off, because I didn't go for the recovery. I really had no reason to. So once again, back in comes the Musharna. He's going to go for hidden power. He can't touch this thing. He's not going to try and stall me at all. And Sableye is going to go for the Dark Pulse, and that is going to finish off the game. Down goes Musharna, and we take a 5-0 victory over FredFord. So that was the game. And a really good game indeed. I was really happy with how I prepared for it. I was very happy with the work that my walls did. I've been saying before that my walls don't necessarily have the best sort of synergy together. I kind of just picked things that I knew were bulky without thinking about how they would work together as a group, as a unit. But against a team like Fred's, which is just massively hyperly offensive, it kind of works, because you don't need synergy as much as just ridiculous bulk. That's kind of all you need, and that's just what I brought, and it worked out in this instance. I just need to work on those little plays, like things like bringing in Noivern against Musharna when I really didn't have to. It's just these little mistakes that could add up, and they have done in the past, and they might do in the future, so I need to get rid of those as much as possible. But good game, FredFord. His links will be down in the description below. Definitely go and check them out. You'll see his side of the battles, as well as his other content. He's a good friend of mine. He's a great guy. You should definitely give him your time. And you know, he's still sitting at a really good position on the table. I know he'll bounce back from this. He's a good player. He's got a good team behind him. and he will definitely bounce back. I'm absolutely confident of it. As for Parasect Germain, we are currently sitting in 2nd place on the table. For the first time in the league, there is daylight between 1st and 2nd. Shardy is sitting up top with 18 points. We are sitting in 2nd on points difference, but with 15. Which means we really need Shardy to slip up, and we definitely need to keep up this winning streak, get into our next game and try and get a win. Our next game is against the Trojan Horsey and his team, Wikomi Wanderers. Much like when we went against Ellie's team, he has ridiculous amounts of bulk, things like Skarmory, Suicune, Rotom is in there. He recently picked up one of the best transfers of the season by grabbing Entei, which is terrifying. So I'm going to have my work cut out, but we're going into this with a winning ethos. We can do this. It is absolutely not over. We are only 2nd by 1 game. We can do this. So, thank you very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. Remember to check out FredFord and of course the PPL to keep up to date with all things PPL. Those links will be down in the description as well. Check out the YouTube channel. Check out the Twitter. You'll be able to find out everyone else who's involved, as well as all the Meet the Manager videos and all the news you need. So, once again, as I say, that's going to be it from me. Thank you once again for watching. Keep supporting Parasect Germain, guys. We're going for the top. But with that, I guess I'll see you next time. Laters.